Well, good morning, everybody. Saturday morning, and as we look across the I guess the world, the country, you should say the country, that's the world. People calling in from all over. Obviously, we've got people back in school. Kind of, Brent Palmer said earlier, trying to get some normalcy back in the world instead of so much summer. I'm not sure I've got normalcy back. As you can see, I'm coming to you from what's called Iuka, Mississippi, which is where the marina is, where my boat is. So that's one of the beauties of what we do, is that we can work our business from virtually anywhere. But I'm gonna get right into this. We've got 4 special guests this morning, and as we told everybody, one of the things we're going to start doing on Saturdays is highlighting a brand. We did Nonya a couple of weeks ago, and then we had the South African group on last week that had already been planned. But this week it's Limu, and I had Coach Palmer ask some folks to get on, and my goodness, there's so many we could have asked. I got to thinking about that list. I wrote down about 15 names of people that we probably could be on this call, but we tried to some great testimonials. But I want to start with Dr. Kristal Vance. Not only is she one of my daughter's best friends, but she is an amazing, I won't tell her story, but I mean, she's a lady who had an incredible chiropractic practice up in the cold weather. So she decided to move to Orlando. I think I saw that you had already gotten back home, right? So you're home already, drove about 30 hours. But at any rate, what I want to do first is why you got started here. So none of these questions planned. She doesn't have any idea what I'm going to ask her. So I want you to talk
Chris,
about, yeah.
Before we get started, I got to tell everybody on the call, like Dr. Kristal's not, I mean, she's one of those people that can't just like drive from one end of the United States to the other, like in a couple of days. She's got to like challenge her body and see if she can do it in a day, just for the competition's sake of it. So that is the personality of Kristal Vance, like wrapped up in a nutshell.
How many hours did you drive?
I think it was like 31, and we did stop in Paducah, Kentucky, for a few hours. And then, yeah, hey, why waste time in hotels and restaurants? Just like, you stop to get gas, you can grab a snack, you potty, you go. Like, that's just how we roll. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I am home and I slept in my own bed, and that's the most important part. So,
well, you look great for someone who drove 31 hours. If I'd driven 31 hours, I wouldn't be able to turn my camera on.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people who sit on their butt all day long. I didn't do anything different. I just moved in a car while doing it.
That's great. But you're up there working your business, of course. You're always working. That's what you're doing. You're always doing that. But, you know, 2 things we want to hear from you. One is why give up a practice? Why give up a successful practice you already built? And secondly, you know, everybody's asking me, I've got people on here that I met with a guy yesterday, and he started asking me about the why this stuff works. I'm like, man, I don't have any clue about the science behind stuff. I just know when I drink something and I feel better, that's good enough for me. So but you can give us some science behind things. So we want 2 parts from you. I want to know why you're decided to do this in a full-time way, but secondly, kind of your story. And then we want to hear some science behind, and I'm going to say it correctly, Limu.
Good job. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate all that. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. I grew up in Wyoming. So living in Florida was a dream of mine. It was freedom for me. Like, how many of you think about the beach as like, and sunshine and palm trees and sand, and that's like a place of freedom for you? Well, that was me always. I grew up in snow and tundra. Okay. So this is what this meant to me was freedom and residual income. And I didn't have either of those back then. I spent $300,000 to go to school, to be seriously in debt, to have massive stress of being a small business owner. I mean, like, there was so many headaches that went along with owning my own practice. And there was some freedom in it. Like, I thought going to school, becoming the business owner would give me freedom, and it did. It allowed me to set my own hours, but I was still working for all of my patients. Like they owned me. Like they could call me and yell at me and be like, I hurt my back. I need you now. And it's like, well, I'm on the golf course. Right. Like I didn't own my own time. I was at the mercy of the customer, which was the patient. It's a business. And I just realized that, I mean, I couldn't see enough patients in the day to pay the bills that I was creating. There just wasn't enough time. And I don't think, I mean, I know I'm saying that as a doctor and you're hearing patient, but I don't think that's any different than anybody else who has a job. Like you can't work enough hours to have the lifestyle and the freedom that you want. And so I had to find a way to duplicate myself. And that was either go open another practice and have more headaches and a franchise or bring in other employees who, quite honestly, they're only your best friend when it's working for them. And they're really quick to undermine you as soon as they can find a way to make more money. Because that's all any of us are trying to do, is make freedom and income for our families. I can't be upset with them. And so I literally had to go internal. And there's probably many of you on here are like, I got to do something different. I had to do something different. And my health had definitely suffered. I've had autoimmune issues. I know that's a buzzword for people, but I've had it since I was a young age. Lots of steroid use. So my system was so susceptible to stress. I was almost, well, I know I went over 300 pounds, but just for the sake of my self-image, I'm going to say I never did. Right? I approached 300 pounds and I needed to get my health under control. Here I was trying to tell people, and I'm going to say that we're a part of a health and wellness company. And here I am as a doctor. I'm successful. People love me. I had a very busy practice, people flying in. But I was not healthy. I wasn't even doing the things to be healthy anymore. And so I needed to fix that. And so when I saw this was a way that I could get myself back on track. I saw residual income. I love network marketing in terms of how you can duplicate yourself very simply. Like if I can teach 99 people to do 1 hour of work, well, then I just got 100 hours of work and all I did was do 1 hour. Like that's smart. That's freedom. If all I have to do is teach 99 people how to do the 1 hour of work I just did, that's 100 hours of work. Well, I didn't have that happening in my practice. I couldn't do it in my practice. So we'll jump forward here. I could talk all day, but you guys, utilizing the different tools, the different products we have, Burn, which is one of the Limu products. I found out about someone came, right? Robin DeMio approached me about the Limu company. And I was skeptical, just like you hear that all the time. So if you're skeptical, so is everybody else on here. But it proved itself over and over. I looked around the room and I was like, they're all having results with this. I guess I should maybe listen. And I found myself falling in love with the nutrition of Limu. It was something that I'd never seen before. I started my weight loss health journey because I just started doing one healthy thing after another. And the next thing you know, I started to have a transformation in my body. In between the nutritional products with Limu and the Slenderize system, you guys have lost over 160 pounds. Now, have I fluctuated? Yeah. Life hasn't changed. There's still stress there, but here's what's different. I'm stressing in Florida next to the pool. I'm not stressing in Wyoming next to a snowdrift. I have some freedom back. If I want to go create more, I know how to go create more. And I have control of my future. And that 7 years ago, I did not. I did not have that. So
Chris,
It's amazing how some of our stories are the same. When she said being skeptical, I probably never told this very often, but I had to be blackmailed into being there or extorted. I mean, I would not want to be listening I didn't believe in this industry. And that's sad. Something that's changed my life the last 20 years. Totally. As I'm thinking about that, if you're saying that, I'm thinking I'm sitting here. My dream was to sit on the boat. And I wrote that down and put it on the wall. And I'm actually shooting this, as you can see the background, from the marina, sitting on my boat. So, but Kristal, we want to hear some stuff about, and I'm going to try to say it correctly, because at least I can say Lehman. Todd's still struggling to say Lehman. I can't say for Croydon. Is that close?
You did good.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah. Hey, Brent.
I just want to say this before we get into the science, because Chris called me this morning. He's like, hey, I'm going to try to do 10 minutes for each person, because we could take the whole hour for one.
Absolutely.
But I do want to say this about Kristal, because Kristal is somebody that everyone on this call has got in their community or in their family or in their circle of your network. When I first saw Kristal and was around Kristal, I was mesmerized, if you will, by her practice. People would fly in to get served by Kristal in her business, to get healed, to overcome the issues they had. And so from an outsider looking in, I'm going, oh my goodness, this lady, she's joined Limu. It's got to be for just the product, because she has an amazing business. But what I didn't know is what I didn't know. She was struggling internally with her goals, with her dreams, with what she wanted to accomplish in life, with time freedom, with moving, different things. And so don't ever discredit the world around you. Just share it with them, because, people always go, hey, Brent, how much have you earned off of Kristal Vance? I don't know. I'm still earning. And I didn't bring Kristal here to this business. So it's the power of the industry. If we don't discredit internally what people want, we never know what they're looking for. So, Chris, I just wanted to bring that up.
Absolutely.
To me, as I'm listening to this, I'm like, it's such a teaching moment. So,
yeah, there's nothing more scalable. There's nothing more beautiful than residual income, because most professions don't have a way to create residual income. And even real estate agents will think they have a way for residual income. No, because your houses can't have houses. You have to go get another house. Right? Like I can teach Ashley Paulsen what I do, and Ashley Paulsen can go find another Ashley Paulsen. That there's nothing as scalable as what we have here. And I love, like, if you are truly like entrepreneur business, your gut and your heart, like network marketing should just fire you up. Like it should just be like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I think the skepticism comes from, why don't I know about this? If this really does what you say you're doing, why has no one ever told me about it? Well, they have, you just won't listen because you're skeptical. So, I love what we have here, and I'm really excited about our future. And I love that Limu is here with us. And okay, people are always like, why Limu? Because I had patients coming to me every single day with products, right? Hey, I just joined this company. I want to tell you about it. They wanted my sphere of influence. Hey, I have this product I'm trying. What do you think about it? And so I was always in the middle of this arena because I was looking at the products for my patients. And there's a lot of companies who have great products. I want you to know that. That's why network marketing works. You have to have some good products for people to want to purchase. But typically you have loss leaders, meaning you have a really great hero product, and then the rest of their products are crap because they can't afford to have a ton of hero products. And what I saw with Limu and what I see here with the company is that's not the case. That is the difference of what we have here, is that you could have multiple companies off of all of these different hero products. Now, here's what's different about Limu. It's sea minerals. It's a sea vitamin. You hear the word fucoidin and you're like, okay, that's a funny word. What does that mean? Well, here's all you need to know. It has proven results, right? I know, poor Chris and poor Todd. I'm sorry, you Southerners trying to say Limu, moo, like a cow, in fucoidin, like the fish, fucoidin, okay? But you don't have to say it perfect. All you have to do is drink it. I don't care if you say it right. Just drink it. Okay. All right. So we all eat vegetables every day. You're supposed to eat things that are living and healthy. Okay. That's Dr. Kristal talking. When you look at your plate, what on there is dying, and you're going to take the nutrients from it and become stronger because you are taking in nutrition from something healthy. So, right? Vegetables. Well, where else are you getting C vegetables? And I think that is really why a lot of people get great results when they start drinking limu, is their bodies never had this nutrition. Certainly in Wyoming, we did not have C minerals. If you said sushi, people were like, what? Like, you can't get fish to Wyoming very quickly, guys. Like, it just doesn't work so well. Okay. Out here in Florida, you say sushi and people are very cool with it. But fucoidan is a nutrient in a type of seaweed. And it's found and harvested in the South Pacific area. And we have thousands and thousands of years of background and knowledge about the power of this nutrient. And every single limu branded product has the fucoidan nutrition inside of it. And your goal should be 2 to 4 ounces of fucoidan nutrition a day. So when you drink a burn, you're getting some fucoidan. When you have some original, you're getting some fucoidan. Blue too. If you can have your energy drink and get your vitamins, doesn't that make sense? And so, like, a lot of people have a budget that they spend on their energy drink and a budget that they spend on their vitamins. And here you get to use the same budget, which means you can go buy something else. I saw this and I was like, okay, I knew the word fucoidan. It's a powerful, powerful anti-inflammatory. Nothing like anything you've seen. I was in a world of steroids, you guys. I wanted something nutritionally that could replace that. That's what got my attention on the limu product line. And so I started drinking it. And then I saw all the antiviral things that went with it. I saw all the antibacterial things that went with it. I started looking in PubMed. Have any of you been to PubMed and researched any of the products, the nutritional lines that we have here? Look up the word fucoidan in PubMed and see thousands of third-party, unsolicited research articles on the power of fucoidan and what it does for your body. You guys, there's groundbreaking studies, but in China and in all these Asian countries, you say the word fucoidan and they know what it is. They're consuming it in some way, somehow. They're steeping tea with the leaves. They're wrapping wounds, right? Even the Polynesian countries, they know how to use seaweed as something that heals their body. Not because it's some magical cure that's going to grow your arm back, as we say, but because it's just full of vitamins and minerals and nutrition. And when you put good stuff in your body, you get good stuff out. And so people will say, well, what is limu going to do for me? I don't know. Drink it. You're not going to know. We don't use it. We don't take it. It's not a prescription. It's a juice full of fucoidan, tropical tasting, right? Pear, apple, mango. It tastes fabulous. And for those of you who hate juice and fruit because you think they're evil because they are carbs, it's very low carb. Drink it. I know a couple people take it and mix it with their Renew because their crybaby's about to renew and what it tastes like. So mix it with your limu, chug it, go to bed. You guys, it really is an incredible product. It does work topically. What am I talking about? Sunburns. If you get sunburn, have a little spray bottle. It's not sticky. Okay. Spray your body. It will absorb because it's what we call bioidentical. This wasn't made in a lab. This is real, naturally, it is some of the most amazing stuff. You get a wound, you get a burn, get some original on it. I know that sounds crazy, but if I could take a bath in it, I probably would. I know Pat Clepper would. I know Pat would take a bath in this stuff. You guys, burn is one of my absolute favorite Limu products. Where else can you get, okay, hold on. How many of you have seen this spoon on all the social media platforms? Do you know what, guys? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I'll talk about other companies. They got this spoon and they're pushing this magic potion into this spoon. And they're like, you need to try. Hello, we have had it. This is collagen protein. We had it way before anybody else did. We just weren't smart with the social media aspect, and we didn't get out there and get it all in front of people's faces. This is 20-some grams of protein. Collagen protein. It has the energy of Blue Frog energy drink, and it has the nutrition of Limu Original in it. Like, nobody's got something like burn. And it helped me drop 80 pounds. Tons of fiber. If you have anything going on with your system, you guys, if you don't have Limu going into your auto ship, I hope by the end of this call, you're like, I cannot not have this. This isn't a replacement for another nutritional product that you're consuming. This is an upgrade. This is an addition. Guess what? I still drink MOA. Guess what? I still drink Noni. Nothing replaces Limu and nothing replaces those. But I can't imagine not having it. And here's the other thing. If you've got kids, you better just put their name on it and put a bottle of it where they can reach it. And I guarantee you, your kids are going to be going into the refrigerator and they're going to grab it and they're going to go drink it. And they're getting their vitamins. They're getting their nutrition. And you don't have to fight with them to take it. Best thing ever. So I don't know. I could talk forever. You better rein me in, Chris.
Well, it's amazing. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that's great. And we wanted to lead with, I know Chris wanted to lead with some of the science, Kristal. And, you know, for somebody like me, that's just a normal, like common sense, like just put it to me straight. You know, we just last week on this call had Tahitian Noni, you know, and you go, what's the magic? We own the processing rights from the tree to the bottle, right?
Yes.
Very powerful. And then a lot of people go, well, Limu, what's the power? It's we own the processing rights from the vegetable that is growing in the sea to the bottle. And so to me, in a common sense world, it's like having a plate of vegetables. I mean, you don't just eat broccoli, you get all your vegetables, right? And so for here, to me, it's like what you were going back with MOA, Tahitian Noni, Limu 5X. You're just upping your chances of a healthy lifestyle by having this flow through your body on a daily basis. So, Kristal, that was perfect the way you put it. So, Chris, I'll turn it back to you. Kristal, thank you for all you do, and thanks for the help you do. Like not just on your team, but sideline, cross line, down line. You don't care, and we really appreciate you for that.
Now, we love her to death. She does so many great things for us all. I mean, she's helped my daughter so much. They've kind of become buddies, that's for sure. But you know what? You said something about the sunburn. I'm going to throw that in about that. When we first got the product, we went to Key West. And when I say I burned the first day, I'm very fair complected. Everybody can see that. I'm always red. And I think Brent said, you can put this on sunburn. And I would have taken a bath there and I was burned so bad. But I took it on a towel and I just started pouring it on my body. And I couldn't believe it. The next day, it's gone. And I was not red. I was in no pain within a few minutes. It blew my mind. That's when I became a real believer in it's not like you said. I still love my MOA. I'm not quitting my MOA and I'm still drinking my Noni, but this stuff had a different thing. So I knew if it was do that good to my skin, I better be drinking it too. Kristal, thank you for being on. And I know this next person is going to be great because Pat is going to be someone who's got a great story. And Pat, we're going to come to you next. And Tonya, I don't know if Tonya was with you. I didn't see her, but I saw Pat join us. But Pat Clepper, It's someone who's been drinking from this different standpoint. Pat's all about what it's done for her. And Tonya, Pat, are you with us?
Chris, we call her the mother. She's the mother of Limu. Like I call her mother, Mama Pat, but she is the mother of Limu. She's probably drinking one of the longer tenured people of drinking Limu in the company.
I know that I've heard her story before, but most of the people have not. So, Pat, are you still with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
There you are. Now I can.
Okay.
Absolutely. So tell us your story. Tanya's with you. I wasn't sure she was with you now. There she is. Hey, Tonya.
Yeah. Listen, Limu to me has just, it's kept me very active at 74. I'll be 75 this year because, I found out that if I put good stuff in my body that I could do more. My endurance was more. And so, we regenerate 4 million cells a day, and we generate, we have to feed it good stuff. So the nutrition that's in Limu was just what I needed at my age. I don't have good family genes. My mother and daddy had heart problems. They had cancer. They had diabetes. They had strokes. And mother died at 62, and and arthritis. And mother died at 62. And here I am at 74, be 75 in November. I take no meds. And, people will look at me and say, how do you stay so youthful? And I said, I got this seaweed that, that I drink every day. And, I saw it in my husband's blood work first. It showed up in the blood work, and I'm going, dear Lord. And the doctors was like, blown away with his blood work and everything that he was going through at the cancer center. And they just couldn't believe that he could go through the radiation without burning. And I was spritzing him, Chris, and they just couldn't believe all of that. And I saw it visually on the MRIs, on the scans, on everything. I could see it. And so I knew I wanted it in my body. And, we have 2 websites actually that has the science on it, and one of them has over 5,000 on the Facoidin, 5,000 studies together. I think I had the number here. It was like 5,631 on the central the NIH, and the 2,487. Well, that's third-party studies. To me, as a blind, that I needed to know, and that's just on one. And I tell them when I drink this little thing, and I do bring a lot of credibility to it. I'm drinking 77 vitamins, and that's nothing that I don't have to hold in my hand. So you can look at me, and and I tell everybody, you have to take responsibility for what you put in your mouth. You're growing cells every day. Every day. I know that I'm growing cells, and I'm a blind, and I'm not a doctor, but I have sense enough to know that I cannot buy stuff at the dollar store and think it's going to grow good cells. I want good cells at 77, and I want good reports. When I went to have my blood work done for an insurance policy I was getting, and the girl said, you can come every year. I said, I don't need to go to a doctor. If it's not broke, let's don't fix it. And she said, well, you need to do this. And the doctor said, her blood work's going to be perfect. He's a friend of mine. He said, her blood work's going to be perfect. So they never did call me back. And I called him. I said, well, I need to know what my blood work was. And she said, perfect. At 74, almost 75, that's huge to me. So you're building cells every day. And my thing to you is, if you want to build the best cells in the world, we have the best products. You don't have to know a lot about them. People who own this company knows a lot about them. And I need to tell as many people as I can, if you want to get to my age and still have a productive life, if you want to get to my age and still have good blood work, then you're going to have to take responsibility for what you're putting in your mouth. Go, Tom.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Well, she said 77 different vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And so I'm just going to read a couple of them. This is not all 77, but in that 77, number 1 is Facoidin. And if you don't know this, your nutrition is 9 times more powerful through liquid than it is pill form. Because we had a nurse tell us one time, when you take pills, that it takes time. And so your body don't recognize a pill. So as it comes, it tries to find a port to get into. But with Limu, it's kind of slimy, and it's kind of not slimy, but it's liquid. And so it's not something that it's what your body recognizes. So when the Limu comes to your cell, instead of trying to find a port, your body says, and it just sucks it in, because it is all natural, chemical free, cold processed, and toxin free. So some of the nutrients that we have, and this is not a list of all 77, is B1, B12, B3, B6, B5, B9, beta carotene, B12, A, B, A, C, D, and E vitamins. It also has methylene and fusterol. It has, in the minerals, it has boron, calcium, chlorides, chromium, copper, iodine, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, sodium, and zinc. So in saying that, I was watching a documentary one day. This doctor said, if ladies would consume their daily amount of selenium every day, that we could cure. And he said cure, this is not saying that Limu cures, it says, but he said we could cure breast cancer in 2 generations. And he said breast cancer is a cousin to testicular cancer. So ladies and gentlemen definitely need to be using selenium, and the great form of selenium too. And all of our products has selenium in it as far as the Limu products. And so we have a lot more products as well that has selenium, but I'm just blown away by the selenium that's in our Limu. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. And the Limu is great. Oh, and by the way, all ages can drink it. And we had a pharmacist. We have a pharmacist on our team, and he was allergic to shellfish. He did tons of research, and he came up and he called me one day. He said, I am really tempted. He said, I am highly, highly allergic to shrimp. He said, I want shrimp so bad. I am tempted to go sit in the parking lot of the hospital and eat shrimp, because I believe, because of this nutrient and because of fucordin, that I can definitely eat shrimp again. I don't know if he ever tried it, but I know that he said that it would not hurt you. So there's a great answer. And I also have been giving this to my baby Gran since he was 6 months old. And I'm not saying we're dumb people. I'm just saying he's extremely, extremely smart, and he catches everything, and very talented, and his nutrition is amazing. And he just turned 10 years old, and he drinks it every morning before he goes to school. So there's a couple of little things I hope y'all can chew on this morning.
That's an incredible. Well, I knew that you guys, Brent calls you as the mother and the daughter there of the Limu for so long. It's crazy stories. And I may have some background noise. Sounds like the folks are starting to turn on music, Brent. So I may turn it to you.
Chris, I'll go ahead as I know Pat and Tonya have got to jump off and they've got something they've got to attend. But one of the things I want to say about this is they have been drinking the Limu products for a very long time. And people don't use products and reorder without it benefiting them. And they've helped tens of thousands of people around the world over the years. And so again, to draw it back to the business, Tonya and Pat are a great example of doing network marketing, getting passionate about it, sharing. You look up and years later, not only is your health at 74 years old, like, wow, but then to flip over to the flip side and go, she's made income and residual income the entire time. How beautiful is that? So ladies, thank you so much for being here today and being an ambassador of this company for us, with us.
Thank you so much. We're glad and love to have you. As we'll come up next, Chris, we got Ashley Paulsen. Ashley Paulsen. And what else can I say? Everybody loves Ashley. I mean, I get people contacting me from my team wanting to know how to get in touch with Ashley. Her story is one of the most incredible in the company. And it's a little different story. I mean, honestly, Ashley, you with us?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And actually, it's one of those that when some people, when you have what we call a legacy business, that's what I'm gonna call what you're doing here, the legacy business. I've heard that before, but you know what? I actually spent some time with the attorney getting mine set up, and exactly what's already happened. So I'm not going to explain that to people. I want you just to tell your story about how you went from the oil fields, I guess is the way to describe that. And I'm going to have to turn my speaker off because everybody decided on the marina that we're going to start dancing. I guess the music is getting awful loud. So I'm going to let you. I want you to tell your story. Actually, I'll let Brent re-enter, add something.
Awesome. I actually want you, Chris, to get up and start dancing with the music in the background. That'd be awesome. There you go. So good morning, everyone. Super excited to be here on this Saturday morning with you all. So like Chris said, what I love about this industry is that it all brings us together for similar reasons, but yet different reasons, right? And so when I saw Limu for the first time 7 years ago, I did have some health issues. I had sciatic back issues. I've tried everything under the sun to try and help some of my health stuff. And really what I saw was just simply clean products that I was already spending money on. But I also saw the income side of it. And I saw what my mother and what Kristal were doing. And so I was working full time in the oil and gas industry. Me and my husband both were. And so all of our eggs were in one basket. I've always really believed in creating something extra on the side. And so I definitely wasn't opposed to taking a look at Limu and obviously what the company had to offer. And so from a product standpoint, like I said, I was already drinking a lot of the products, the energy drinks, right? But really just redirected my spending and started purchasing it from them and started sharing it with my family and friends. And I did join my mother, who was a massage therapist. And so that's how she knew Dr. Kristal, obviously in the chiropractic healthcare field. But I had joined her and I had lived down in Colorado and they had lived up in Wyoming. And so I saw them doing all these parties together and they were having fun and they were sharing with people, sharing the products, right? But also I was watching them share the business and share the income side of it. And I was like, if they can do this in Wyoming, why can't I do this in Colorado? And so that's really what I did is I just started doing the same thing they were doing. I started doing parties down in Colorado, home parties, right? Getting people together, having the Limu products out. And really within 4 months, I looked up at the age of 30 and my commissions were paying for my car payment and our house payment. And I was like, this little side hustle is pretty awesome, right? Working in the oil and gas industry. I mean, I made decent money there. And just within that short amount of time, as we're sharing, that's what it created for my family. And so as we kept sharing, about 11 months into our business, my mom had actually found out that her breast cancer had came back. She was diagnosed, before we had started Limu, and it had came back and it had spread to her lungs, her liver, and her spine. We didn't know it was going to come back as aggressive as it did, right? Life happens. And that's one of the things is I think during this whole journey, our products are so important because our health is important. At the end of the day, your health is all you really truly have. And so as I share my business, health is a very important thing to me because my mom actually ended up passing away 4 months after she had found out at the age of 47. And so, we talk about health and how important it is and stuff. And a lot of us, there's some of us who aren't granted to live until we're 80, or we're not granted until we, my great grandma was 105. She was almost 106. And that was my mom's grandma. And so, health is very important. And it's just like Pat said, it's what you're putting in, the quality of what you're putting in to your body, right? There's vitamins and there's tons of stuff all out there in the market, but it's the quality of it and what you're actually putting into your body and consuming. And so from a product standpoint, absolutely. And so after she had passed away, she had a full-time job. She worked for the city of Gillette. She, did a lot of things, and she did have a 401k and she did have a lot of stuff, but really, truly the power of residual income, really, truly. And so I sit here and listen to Chris and I sit here and listen to Brent and, You know, you might be sitting here right now and being like, I want to build this for my kids. I want to build this for my grandkids. You can do it because I'm living proof. When my mom had passed away, I had taken over her business, the top of her business, and I ended up putting my daughter in my old brand partner account until she turns 18, which just so happens to be in 2 months, which is insane. But really, truly the power of residual income. And so, like I mentioned, she had a 401k, she had all these things, but it's really, quite honestly, a pain in the ass. You have to have a minimum distribution every month. You have to do this, it's taxes, right? It's all these things. As to where her business, it was literally like a light switch. I took it over, and still to this day, that's the power of residual income, is still to this day, we're still earning income off the people who started the products or started the business 7 years ago when we did. And she's not even here, right? So the power of residual income is so true. But, you know, on Sunday, I had FaceTime my grandma, and my grandpa's kind of having some health issues right now. And so I decided with my daughter, since she's still on summer break before she starts her senior year, to come here and visit, because I have the time freedom, right? I left the rat wheel of corporate America 2 years ago, and not just because COVID made me. I had the opportunity to leave. So I chose to leave the oil and gas industry because I knew in my heart, I made an impact there. I was an amazing employee for 14 years. I gave a lot of my life to that place, but I was not making the impact that I wanted to make. And after mom had passed, it was her dream was to have Limu be a household name for everyone. And I'm not stopping until we get there. And so, you know, 7 years, I look back and I'm like, I started because I had back problems. I started because I wanted another stream of income in our house. But when my mom shared that with me, she had no idea that I'd be here 7 years later in this position. And so as you're sharing with people, it's not always about the 7 minerals and vitamins and always about this and always about that. Yes, that's important. But I started there with that product, not knowing that my life would be right here today. So as you're sharing with people, health and our products are amazing and it's important, but you have no idea what you're going to do to change your financial future. So definitely just always remember that when you're sharing with others. It always takes the product and the business. I wouldn't be here without both. So that's a little bit about my story, Chris.
Chris, I got to say something. As I sit here, Lisa, we love so much, Ashley's mom. And, you know, I can just, as parents, as grandparents, I mean, we want to be that smiling face one day. You're right in heaven looking down and going, man, look what my grandkids are doing with something we started. And I know Lisa's doing that because Ashley's not sitting on the foundation that Lisa created. Ashley's making that foundation bigger and bigger and bigger and taking it to new heights. And I know she's smiling up above for that. So Ashley, thank you for that story. And I know every time you tell it, it does things, you know, big things to your heart. It does things to our heart. And because we go out every day. We go out every day in network marketing when we say you build this, not only for you, but your family, because it's sellable, it's trustable, it's willable, it's something that's yours. You're the entrepreneur and you are living proof of that. And so it gives hope, hopefully, to a lot of people on this Zoom today of what they got their hands on with this opportunity. So thank you and we love you.
Love you guys.
And Ashley, I want you to know that your story, each time I hear it, even though I've heard it more than once, it makes me swell with, I don't know, I didn't get the pleasure of knowing your mom, Brent knew her. So it's like, I just know that I just love the story. I wish I could put it in proper words because it's, everybody that hears your story is like, this girl is so amazing. So thank you for being on this morning. I know it's not an easy thing for you to tell this every time. So as we move forward, we're fixing to move into one of these ladies that I don't even know what to say about. I mean, she's absolutely, she's a rock star too. I mean, we talk about rock stars, we talk about all the things. And we start this, Tammy is, I've been in her home recently. I was going to wear my Air Force Academy hat, but I couldn't find it quick enough. I had some other things happen, but I brought it to the lake. I wear it every day. She gave me an Air Force Academy hat that I wear on a regular basis now. Got it stretched out and good broke in now. So But Tammy, I'm gonna set the stage a little different here, because when I got to visit your home, what a beautiful place. But then I didn't know your whole story until I got to visit your home. We went to this country club, and I hope it's okay I tell this, but you kind of went through some times where this lady and her husband were just, I mean, my goodness, I went to this country club. It's as nice as any place I'd ever been, period. And I travel a lot, and I've been to some pretty nice places. And I mean, this country club was phenomenal. And then I found out that this is the development you and your husband were doing when the crash hit, in I guess 2008. But I hope it's okay I bring that up. I mean, I didn't ask, I just did it. I'm like, we didn't prep any of this stuff. Brent just said, hey, they'll be fine, whatever. And I'm like, okay, good. And I'll blame it on Brent if you're not okay with this. But Tammy, I want you to talk about, what you went through. And I know you can talk about the product if you want, but I want you to kind of tell your story. I mean, it was so powerful. My wife talks about all your cooking. She's like, this woman, I can't cook like that. She's freaking amazing. She says you're cooking all these things. I got to eat one of those cakes at your special at your house. But I want you to go through and talk about what y'all have gone through with the development that I went in that day I had no idea that that's what y'all did. So would you mind sharing that and why you do this now?
Absolutely. Hey, Chris, can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay, good. Hey, everybody, welcome. And Chris, absolutely. I think one of the most powerful things we have is our story and what we actually walk through and how this company has changed our lives. I jumped into Limu 8.5 years ago. And my husband was in real estate. He was a developer and basically had a lot of investments. All of them were in land. And so, because that's what he was a realtor, everything was in land. And so the crash hit in 2008. And I think most of us were affected by it on some level. We certainly were. I'm not going to go into our whole story, but we left our beautiful home and moved into a very small rental. We thought it would be just for 6 months. We ended up living in that house for 3.5 years. And what we experienced, we didn't lose everything at once, but we started losing all of our investments except for one over a 24-month period. And my husband is 17 years older than I am. So to have built all of this and to be in his 60s and discover that we had lost all of our investments in real estate, everything had foreclosed. Those were really dark days. And I do tell the story. My husband gave me a beautiful wedding ring when we got married. We've been married. We're in our 15th year. And he gave me a beautiful ring when we got married. And it was the only thing that had real value of everything that we had left. And I had to make a decision. We both made a decision that I had to sell that ring to pay for another business situation that we had to come up with a significant amount of money. And that was a very hard day, Chris, to say the very least. My husband, who is a colonel, he's an amazing man, pretty rock solid, to say the very least. He just wept that day. And he just said, Tammy, I feel like I've failed you. I said, I feel like I've failed myself. Like, this will make me cry every time I talk about it. But I feel like I had failed myself, my kids. We couldn't believe it. Like, life can turn. One phone call, life can turn on a dime. And I always say you need to dig your well before you're thirsty. I had not dug my well. I was very thirsty, but I had done traditional businesses. I was an author and speaker. I had been in media. I didn't have a residual income. I didn't know there was such a thing. And even though I had worked with John Maxwell for a couple of years, and a lot of people that work with John have, are in network marketing, I don't know. It just, I had never been approached by anybody in network marketing, never. And so let that be a little tip for somebody on here today, that you may look at people and think they don't have a need, but I promise you, when the garage door goes down inside of their house and they walk inside their house, they deal with the reality of their world. And sometimes you don't know, they could be one house payment away from losing their house. We just went through 2020, didn't we, Chris? Didn't we just see people by the droves losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their income, losing hope. You know, we just went through it again, but here's the difference. In 2020, my income, my business increased 35%. I mean, of course, we opened Africa. We worked on Africa during that time. So we saw some huge things happening. So I am just telling you today, we were able to pay back every penny we owed. We were able to, buy another beautiful home. We were able to get back into helping our children. I have 4 adult children, 7 grandsons. Well, that is my legacy. And I think most of us on here today, we do this business because we really believe, yes, in health and nutrition. Please understand, I love health and nutrition, but please understand, I did not get into this business for health and nutrition. I didn't. I got into this business because I needed to make money, to get out of debt, and to create a better life for myself, my husband, and my children and my grandchildren. That's just the truth. So wherever you are today, the people that you meet, please understand, Robin could have said, well, Kristal's approached by 1,000 different people. And Kristal could have said, Ashley's mom was approached by 1,000 different people, and they never would have asked, but they did. And because of that, I'm on this Zoom today. They're on this Zoom today because someone had the courage to share with us, maybe you should take a look. And we did. And our lives were truly, truly transformed. So that's my story, Chris. It's a little nutshell, but I mean, I could share lots, but I think that's the highlight.
It's an incredible story, and I think one of the things you said is, we have so much in common because I was desperate. And people thought, well, he's made so much money in the blue jean business, he'd never do this. And people didn't call me. And yet I was praying every day for something to change. And like you say, the door shuts down. We're kind of private people. The door shuts. And you don't realize that there's a lot of people out there praying for you to call them. And yet we don't have the guts to make, and I'm guilty. I don't always have the guts to call people to say, this is what it is. And but thank you so much. I mean, I enjoy being in your home, Brent.
Well, I got to say something. I get the pleasure of working with Tammy every day. And I can say this about her. She treats this, she is the CEO of her empire. She treats it as a business. She walks around, she's branded this morning, not because it's on the, she's on the Zoom. She's like Pat Clepper. I mean, like, she treats this as her Amazon, as her, like, whatever. She is the CEO of this business. And Tammy, I got to say this, when I sit and I listen to her story, it provides so much hope because God works in mysterious ways. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't we all agree? And Tammy hit a rank in our company, and she got to go back and she got to buy back that wedding ring. She's got it on her finger. Like it's like a victory story. Like where it didn't get sold. Like, I mean, it was like, that's a God thing.
And I paid for it in cash.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know
the bonus
that.
Money helps. Yeah. It's incredible. And to me, it's kind of like the bow tie, the for the morning, Chris, is Tammy wrapping it up because, she's built a phenomenal business and providing hope, but she is. So ask yourself this question this morning, all of us on the Zoom, are we being the CEO of our empire right now, of our future? Are we taking it serious? Are we branded? Are we walking around today ready to make a call, ready to have a meeting, ready to share this opportunity? Because I can promise you one thing, Tammy Maltby and Jerry never miss a day without sharing this business of hope and giving people hope, trust, and a plan. So Tammy, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here this morning. And we love you so much. Chris, speaking of that.
Wow. Amazing. What an amazing, Brent, I got to say something. every week, I think we came out the next Saturday. I'm just telling you, each time, I think using this brand idea and doing this on Saturdays is going to be something we're going to carry on forward. And this was, my goodness, I hope this recording worked, because I already know about 5 people I need to send this recording to immediately. So
it's incredible. And tomorrow night, Chris, I want to say this. I'm going to show this post. Tomorrow night, Andrea Rosser will be doing a call, and one of the highlights